They can hear us. Am I muted? I haven't even said anything. What? Okay. It's working. I didn't even do anything. Okay. Somebody was screwing with this. They had to have been. Ah, that was a good way to come back for me. Why? Okay. Jesus. But we can hear everybody else. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Everybody's gonna stop watching. That can't be the Phil show. Okay. Okay. Can you guys talk? Okay. Now I can't hear you. Can they hear you? Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Shit. All right. Now can you hear yourself? No. Okay. I don't. I mean, I don't know what's going on then. Hold on.
Tap, tap, tap.
I don't know what's going on then. Okay. What about now?
Oh, he said he could
Talk,
hear
talk,
D.
talk.
Hear me. Talk, Brett.
Yep, yep.
Brett, your head's not even moving. Oh, there we go. Oh, he said he could hear me.
Okay, I can hear this right now.
Talk, Brett.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear us both.
Okay. Thank you, Jesus. Sorry, guys. I don't know.
Do we want to shut it down and go back live, or we just want to roll?
Just
Let's
go
roll.
with it. I mean, yeah.
All right. Welcome to the very special. I gotta unmute my stream. Welcome to the very special playoff edition of the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast. If you couldn't tell already, the boys are back. I'm joined as always by Mr. Jonathan Detroit Haynes. How you doing, man?
Yo, yo, yo. See what happens when we lose the evil commish? Everything just falls in the toilet.
Messed with the wires on his way out. Sabotaged our captain.
Apparently so.
There he is. Captain Phil Ruxy. How we doing, brother?
I mean, I was doing better before we started the show. But I guess I've still had too much to drink last week, so it's still in my body or something. I don't know what's going on here.
How many pina coladas?
Still on island time.
Nice.
He was not somewhere over the Atlantic like I prescribed.
By the way,
so,
love that jersey.
Boys,
love that jersey, Brett.
Got the Lions jersey just out of respect.
Down the field.
Out of respect for Dan the Man Campbell. Yeah, we'll get to it. But first, the final week of the KDFL regular season has transpired. We have our playoff teams. Detroit, take it away and tell us how we got where we are.
Well, we start out with my Elkview River Rats taking on your Mega Powers, trying to go for the sweep. Which team wants to win? I don't think either one of us really wanted to win because that means we lose ping pong balls for the lottery. I did my best. I talked to Derek Carr ahead of time. He got me a whopping 0.58 points this week. Had about 4 or 5 offensive players that didn't even score 7 points or more. You got a huge week out of Judy. Deshaun, I like to give massage. Watson's will give you 16 points. And it was just enough, well, not just enough, 224 to 195. Congrats, Brett, on getting that bye in the Golden Douche bracket.
Shout out to Phil real quick for keeping the logos rolling. Well done.
Thanks. At least something's going right so far.
There we go. Take it away, bro.
All right, next we're heading all the way down to Florida at Nocatee, where the Zen Masters welcome in Kanawha County. Welcomed in the Kanawha County Kings. These two teams are a couple of the tanking teams, just like me. I'm not tanking. That's a joke term. For the Kings, Joel with 30.5 on defense, Greenlaw with 28 on defense, Juju Smith-Schuster was the high scorer on offense for the Kings with 24. On the other side, Trevor Lawrence with 36. I don't even want to talk about that. Sneed with 18.5 and Patrick Queen with 15.5, but it was not enough for the Zen Masters, as I guess, I don't know if they still have the pick, but this was a good thing for them probably. They lose to the Kings 221 to 169.
Quick reference check. That pick belongs in Melbourne with the Mega Powers. So very nice by the Kings. Very nice. Very nice. So we go on to Wake Forest. We're slowly working our way up I-95 here. We go to Wake Forest, where they are hosting the Sinners. Sinners have to win to get into the postseason. Kirk Cousins leads the way with 28. Tyler Lockett's the high scorer for the Lumberjacks with 18.5. Shaq Thompson tries to contribute with 14 of his own, but it is Tony Sunshine Pollard with 22. He keeps staying red hot. Some would say explosive. And the Sinners get to 7-7 with the win, 244 to 129.
Next, we have the Wampus Cats, who are playoff bound for the first time, taking on another playoff team, the Dogtown Dobermans, who come in 11-2. Dobermans get huge games out of Josh Allen, Miles Sanders, McCaffrey, and there's that guy, Chris Moore, wide receiver stud from the Texans, 24 points. Wampus Cats, they had some decent output from Justin Herbert, DK Metcalf. Unfortunately for them, they take a little bit of a hurt. Kyler Murray goes down 0.6 points. That's going to hurt him in the playoffs. Just wasn't enough. Dobermans 235, Hurricane. Wampus Cats 212.
Wampus Cats.
All right, and next we head to South Hills, where the Evil Empire welcomed in his Thunder buddy, the Marmette Midnight Riders. For Germ, Hurts scores 32.38 on offense. Jamar Chase with 29. And I don't know how to say this guy's name. Petrie?
That would be Jalen Petrie of KDFL podcast fame last week.
Okay, so yeah, I must have missed the pronunciation class on that one. I don't watch the show, guys. Sorry, I don't know what we talk about. I'm just kidding. Sometimes I watch. I just don't like looking at myself most of the time, so I don't even look in mirrors. But
you weren't on the show last week, so
that's true. Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying I don't like watching the other episodes because I don't want to watch myself. Anyways,
okay.
For the Midnight Riders, Jefferson with 33.3. He's having a huge season. Eckler 24.4. He's having a huge season, and then Tyreek with 24.1. Was not enough for the Midnight Riders as they put up a respectable 241.02, but the Evil Empire scored 278.46 to keep the Evil Empire rolling.
All right. Next, we have our final regular season game of the week. It's the Renegades, because of the earlier events of the day, having to win to get into the playoffs, hosting the Gamblers. James Conner has his best, one of his best games of the season with 23 points. And Jared Goff continues to stay red hot at home, pours in 29 of his own. And there's that defense. As forecasted on the KDFL podcast, Roquan Smith, 22 points of his own. Garrett Wilson, the rookie, in his final KDFL regular season game, puts up 14 for the Renegades, but it's not enough as Daniel Jones adds 20 points himself, and the Gamblers win 221 to 193, eliminating the Roxalana Renegades and the D Block faction from the KDFL playoffs. And that is it, boys.
So is Reed not a part of the Dunbar thing anymore?
Dogtown.
Okay.
He's loosely affiliated. He's loosely affiliated.
So are you going to claim him if he wins?
We'll see.
You have to, right? I mean,
yeah.
None of you guys are getting close ever again, so.
Whatever. Not true. Okay. So there's our KDFL results. Later on in the show, we have our 6 KDFL teams. We're going to power rank them by quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. So we'll add those up and get our overall rankings for where we have the KDFL playoff teams. But right now, boys, an NFL week was played. Detroit, I'm gonna give you the honors here. Were the Packers on bye? They were, right?
Yeah, they were on bye.
Yeah, so the Falcons and Packers were both on bye. Detroit was the only game playing. They had their toughest test of the season so far and came out on top. How do we feel about the Lions right now?
I'm feeling a little, I got a little chub. What can I say? No, I'm pleasantly surprised. When this team was 1-6, I did not expect them to win 5 of 6. That offense has been playing great. The defense is playing a little bit better. They're getting some turnovers. And I got to talk about it. Jared Goff. He's playing really, really good. Playing so good. I don't think that I don't think they're going to go quarterback in the first round next year.
No.
So they got a shot. I think they really need to win out. I don't think if they go 3-1 that they'll make the playoffs because they're basically a game and a half behind the 6th and 7th seed, I believe. So they have the tiebreaker over the Giants and the Commanders. They don't with the Seahawks. The Seahawks beat us by 3. Lions are looking good, though. I like it. I'm excited.
I'm telling you, it feels like in Detroit, NFL football is a way of life now. They are getting it done. How far back are they? The Vikings still just need to win one and the Lions lose and the Vikings clinch? Is that still the situation?
Yeah, they just need to win one. Did you see that stat where they're like 10-3 and they've been outscored by the more points than they've scored this year?
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, I guess all their games are super close, but that defense from Minnesota that's what's bringing them down.
I had to pay homage to Dan Campbell because, I mean, the topic was, like, will he even get to coach Jameson Williams in an actual game? That was my thing. And he has flourished. He's obviously always been the guy that the team's going to want to play for, but it felt like the X's and O's and the mistakes were killing them. And, yeah.
I think once they read off a couple wins, they started to believe because most of their games all year were really close, except for when they went to New England and they got shut out. But all those other games, early games, close.
Yeah. So, Aiden Hutchinson looks strong. Left side, strong side looks good. It looks like he's a beast.
Strong side.
What else was I going to say about that? Oh, great test this week with the Jets on the road because that's the only knock that's left now, right? Is Jared Goff on the road?
Well, and 3 of their last
strong defense.
3 of their last 4 are on the road too, but. I think I
felt like
at the Jets, at Carolina, home against the Bears, and then we end at Green Bay. I mean,
it felt like they were at home forever.
It did. It really did. But looking good. How about I got to talk about the team that I predicted to be #1 in the NFC. How about them Philadelphia Eagles?
The
Fly,
Eagles
right
are, yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
We're not going to question them until they give us a reason to. Now, like that's out the window. This was what should have been a tough test, and it wasn't even a speed bump. Like a division road game.
I was gonna ask you guys right now: do you take the Eagles or do you take the field in the NFC? I think you gotta take the Eagles, man. Going to Philadelphia in January, it's not gonna be easy. That team is playing lights out.
I'm going to take the Eagles as long as, of course, I'm going to say this, as long as Hurts doesn't get hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but
Obviously,
that's why you don't take the field. Yeah, but I mean that's why we don't take the field, because if I think if the Niners were at full strength, I'd still be on that wagon. But although Purdy looked good, but still, yeah, I think you have to go Eagles right now.
Yeah, I mean that defense has been playing really good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that was my
the thing is, yeah, they do get Reed points out correctly. Goddard comes back this week, and they have to keep their foot on the gas because Dallas is still in the division fight, very much so. So they are though, and they play them again. So I mean, they're still there.
And I like the Cowboys. I've always liked the Cowboys. I just don't trust them.
If the season ended right now, the entire NFC is for being in the playoffs, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the Giants will end up pulling out. But yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see. We got Eagles for real. We got that off there. What do I got? Oh, real quick, Falcons news. It has officially happened. Ritter is taking over. Mariota is not just the backup. Mariota is gone. He's, for all intents and purposes, he is no longer a Falcon.
Yeah, I saw a weird story about that today.
They tell him on Thursday. All of a sudden, Friday, we have season-ending knee surgery.
Yeah,
and it's over.
Wasn't it first? There was a story out there that he left because his wife was having a baby.
They did have a baby too. It's a lot of weird stuff. They had a baby. He got benched. And then he has knee surgery. Even though I never knew he was. I mean, it's probably just like it sounds weird to say surgery is like a maintenance thing, but I mean, he was never hurt. But I mean, the way he plays, I'm sure he always has like nagging knee issues that needs to get cleaned up and stuff. And it's a weird spot because I know we talked about the Jags, or we all watched the Jags put it on the Titans. The NFC South and the AFC South are in two very similar situations. The only difference being the Titans are 7-6 and the Bucks are 6-7. But these are very bad divisions. They're very bad divisions, but winnable right now.
So, yeah, I mean, your Falcons could still win that division.
The Panthers, though, are someone to watch because that defense, a good defense, will always keep you around and keep you from getting blown out.
Well, Tampa's gonna lose this week. They got Cincinnati. So I mean, the Bengals are going to roll.
And I feel like we both thought we all thought before the season that both of these divisions would be pretty close to the top of the NFL. I feel like overall
better. I mean, we certainly thought the Colts and Titans would battle it out.
Yeah, but they're basically. I mean, well, not basically.
Yeah.
They are. Well, Titans are kind of. They're done. Yeah.
Did you guys see that? I saw a report earlier that Brock's questionable for tomorrow night for the Niners.
Yeah.
Who's there?
I don't know who. Oh, what's his name, right? It'd be Josh Johnson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna need them to beat the Seahawks. So.
Oh yeah.
Since we're chasing them.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Like, yeah, you have a lot of things going on in Detroit land.
Yeah,
the top 5 potential pick that Baker played his way out of. I guess.
Yeah, that's another thing. I thought that we were going to drop to like 8 or 9, but we still have the number 4 pick because I guess a bunch of other teams won. So right now we got.
I mean, the Texans are in front, pretty much cemented right now. I believe the Jags won. I don't know who else is down near the bottom.
Is it the Eagles? Don't the Eagles have their pick? Somebody's pick.
Oh, the Eagles have don't they have the come on, it's the Saints. The Eagles have the Saints pick.
Yeah, the Saints.
Maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's crazy that
they're
6-7 team has a top 5 pick. I feel like it's usually like
it's Houston,
2 to 4 win teams.
Seattle, Chicago, Detroit, Philly, right now. Those are the 5.
Let's see here. Get that up there. Let's see what else I have here. Da, 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 da. Okay. Justin Herbert kind of silences some critics on Sunday night. He was playing out of his mind, I have to admit. I've kind of got on the jump on the bandwagon, but he looked very good on Sunday night.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe in either one of those teams either. More so the Chargers, but
Oh, I don't believe in the Chargers, no. But he looked better than he had. Which he did have his weapons back for the people that say, yeah.
I mean, you got to look good if you're showing that much. I feel like you don't really have a choice.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, no one thinks he's a bad quarterback except for one person in this league.
He doesn't actually think he's bad. My whole thing on him is we anointed him a little early. That's it. That's my only knock. He's a solid good quarterback.
The media does that. The media does that.
Right. They anointed him, pretty early. The only other funny thing I have is Mike White just walking in and getting blasted. The mandatory ambulance ride. Zach Wilson has elevated himself to the backup role now. You imagine he's done in New York after this year.
Lions are going to have to take on Flacco this week. That's something else.
You think? I don't know. They won't take on. It'll be Mike White. He'll get destroyed, and it'll be Zach Wilson after that.
I thought White was going to be out. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know Zach Wilson's the backup, but I don't know if he's now. You got me play. Hey.
he's on the Midnight Riders, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it says questionable right now.
Yeah. We want some more. We want some more. Mike White. All right. So I have an interesting one interesting question and then an interesting fact. What head coaches would you fire right now? Have you seen enough of and you need to move on? Can you name Hackett's got to be number one, right? Hackett in Denver.
Yeah, him. I still don't like the Chargers coach. I can't
even have Staley on there?
I can't even name these guys their names. I don't know.
Staley, Brandon Staley.
Staley.
I agree with Reed there. Lovie Smith's got to go in Houston.
I don't think Jeff Saturday is going to be the coach with the Colts.
That's interim though. I have an interesting name that I think
Smith was kind of thrown into a crappy situation.
Yeah, I feel like he's a placeholder. Right. I have one that I would just cut bait on right now and just move on.
What's that?
Josh McDaniels.
So 1 year and done, you think?
1 year. These blown leads and then the history of Denver. The history of Denver really plays in my mind, dude. How bad it went. And his own little checkered past. And how bad it's gone in the Raiders. They're gonna. I really do think. I hate to say this, but I think they're gonna move on from Carr because of this. And I think you're gonna keep around the wrong guy, in my opinion, right now.
Oh, don't forget about.
I feel like Cliff. I could tell. Cliff would be on there too. Cliff is there too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cliff is what McDaniels becomes if you don't move on now. They won't do it, but I feel like that's where you got to move on. An interesting stat to talk about the dominance of one Travis Kelce and the horribleness of the tight end position. Travis Kelce is the number one tight end in the KDFL and all fantasy leagues, with a league high for tight ends 260 points. Mark Andrews.
What? Yeah, go ahead. I have some of this written down for our next segment. I was going to talk about this.
Yeah, Mark Andrews is number two with 157 points. Mark Andrews is closer to, what is his name? Jelani Woods, tight end 35, than he is to Travis Kelce, tight end 1.
That's nuts.
That's crazy, yeah.
Absolutely insane with the tight end. Because if you remove Kelce, then everybody's just so much on a level. I mean, Andrews is still a tier above, I believe, but you're on a level playing field. But Kelce's just so far above and beyond. So, with that being said,
that might be your best stat ever on the show.
Yeah, I love those quirky things, quirky stats. So it's Kelce and then a huge logjam. So Let's talk about this is a playoff edition for the KDFL. These shows are probably going to get a little bit shorter now because there's less games to talk about. And I did it again. Detroit. That's messed up. No, that's messed up because you led me to go on to the next segment. You said I'm going to talk about it later.
Yeah, it's my fault. I even talked to you about this before we started the show.
You're the host, I mean, come on.
I want to fight introduction. Come on.
I'm gonna have to do up downs now until I'm no longer tired or thirsty. Detroit, what is grinding your gears today?
All right, I'm gonna keep this one short, but what's grinding my gears this week is all you World Cup / soccer snobs.
The gear.
Why do you throw such a fit about soccer being on or anybody talking about soccer? It's every 4 years. It's for country pride. It's the biggest sport in the world. Yes, it's not one of my favorite sports. It probably doesn't even make top 7 or 8. But I can enjoy it every 4 years. You know, what's the big deal? I can't – the people that just constantly – it's so bad. It's so bad. The flopping. Yes, the flopping's bad. But come on, people. Stop being snobs.
I don't know how it's happened. I don't know if it's because it's work from home now and stuff for a lot of people, but this is the most I've ever watched of the World Cup. I mean, I've bet on it more, but I've watched the games I wasn't even betting on. It can be tough to get through at times, but I do like it once every 4 years.
But sometimes it gets really, really, awesome. It gets really intense.
Yeah.
And
you know what I always think about when I see a player flopping is how many goals have they actually cost themselves? You know what I mean? Like if they just keep running instead of flopping, what if they score a goal?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where LeBron has learned how to flop, by watching soccer.
Oh, for sure.
I think the penalty kicks are horribly unfair to the goalie.
Oh, you see what Reed put?
Soccer, it's better than sleeper app. Oh,
I love it. Sleeper app taking some
sleeper app forever.
I love it. No, I mean, like I said, it's not like I'm promoting it. I just do a lot of the stuff in Discord just to be annoying myself, obviously. But
yeah, we know.
I don't get it. I mean, if I start talking the Premier League or something, okay, go ahead.
But I am the stereotypical fan. I'm not going to transition to MLS. It's not happening.
Right, exactly.
I am that
cross
guy.
promote a show though. You guys have seen Welcome to Wrexham, haven't you? I think Detroit. You said you.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen
that.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, it's got Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. It's a pretty funny show.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. I like it.
I like it.
Okay.
People take that stuff serious over there, man.
Oh yeah, you see the hooligan episode?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Nuts.
It was like people drop kicking people in the street and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like here you see the drunk fans in the stands. It's nothing compared to those hooligan fights.
Yeah, there's like a guy walking down the street and a foot just came out of nowhere and kicked him right in the jaw.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even see the guy coming.
Anyways, all right. That's
ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I like it. I think look, it's a part of a bigger conversation, but people hate to see people happy. That's just a fact. People hate to see people excited about stuff. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to fix the human condition right here on the KDFL Fantasy Podcast. We're going to fix the human condition.
It might take more than one episode or a couple.
By the way, that segment was brought to you by Vitamin Water.
You're just great at the label placement.
And Sprite zero sugar, 0 calories.
Boys. All right, we're ready. It is the KDFL playoff edition. We have our 7 teams. Let me go to where I can get this playoff bracket. Or 7 teams. Our 6 teams. The 1 seed, the Evil Empire. The 2 seed, the Dogtown Dobermans. The 3 seed, the Cross Vegas Gamblers. 4 seed, the Hurricane Wampus Cats. I can't believe Phil had this ready to go. The Hurricane Wampus Cats making their initial playoff appearance. The 5 seed, the Midnight Bills. The Midnight Riders. The 6 seed, the St. Albans Sinners. So, boys, what we have done is we have all individually power ranked these teams as far as where they rank in their quarterback position, their running back position. We combined wide receiver and tight end, and we did their defense. We add up those totals, and we get our overall what we have them. So let's start out at the most important position in the land. I guess we'll just kind of run down it and just give your quick, your 1 through 6, and kind of go from there. So Detroit, I'll have you take it away. Start off with your quarterbacks.
All right, number 1, I have the Evil Empire. They actually have the number 1 and number 2 ranked quarterbacks in fantasy. And I have them followed by the Dobermans, who have the number 3 and number 4 quarterback ranked in fantasy. Then I got the Gamblers, the Sinners, the Wampus Cats, and then the Midnight Riders. With the Midnight Riders, he's got Rodgers, who's right now is the 18th fantasy rated quarterback. And Mike White is his other one, where he could throw in Baker Mayfield. So that's why I got him ranked pretty low. So
I'm giving you the suspect face.
What?
I don't know why in a second. You don't know why in a second. Phil, what do you have? I want to see where you have a certain team landing.
Okay. I mean, I think 1, 2, we're probably not going to be different on those. It's pretty obvious. Evil Empire, Dobermans. 3, 4, I've flipped with Detroit. I don't trust Daniel Jones for some reason. I don't know why. And then Tom Brady, he hasn't looked super great. I mean, he's still top 15. So I have the Gamblers at 4 and the Sinners at 3. I don't know why, because they have Kirk Cousins. But for some reason, I trust him more than Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be pretty good in the playoffs. Well, our fantasy playoffs anyways. And Tannehill, I like Tannehill. I don't know if it has to do with him being on my salary team. But either way. They're at number 3. And then number 5, I think mine are the same as Detroit. I have the Wampus Cats and the Midnight Riders at 6.
Okay. Off the top. All right. We have the Evil Empire and the Dobermans. I have the Sinners at 3 because Kirk Cousins has been lighting it up, and their defense is terrible, which is the requisite you need to be able to score a lot of points from the quarterback position. Tannehill is kind of next, I have the Wampus Cats. I know we lost Murray. That's a huge blow. It'd be fun to see. They'd probably be like a stone lock at number 3 in here if they had Murray still.
Yeah, for sure.
But losing Murray is a huge deal. They did pick up Darnold, which will be the starter for the rest of the season.
What do you have them ranked?
I have the Wampus Cats at 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have Sinners. I have the Wampus Cats because Herbert looks like he's coming into his own, and Darnold's going to start the rest of the season.
I get that, but you've also got – you're talking about both quarterbacks. So you can't just do it because you got one good quarterback. Sam Darnold's going to get you, like this week, projected 12.
As opposed to the Gamblers, who have 2 subpar quarterbacks in Brady and Daniel Jones. This is our Brady biases are coming out right now.
No, but Daniel Jones and Tom Brady are way ahead of Darnold, though, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are. But Herbert's ahead of them.
16 and 18 points a game. That's what I think based off.
Right, but I think I would rather have Herbert and Darnold.
I'd rather have Herbert than obviously Tom Brady.
I'd rather have the pair of Herbert. I'd rather have the pair of Herbert and Donald than Brady and Daniel Jones.
I don't think
Herbert's top 5 out of all these quarterbacks for sure. But I mean, he's paired with Donald. So.
Freaking pump the brakes, but
okay. I mean, he is, but okay.
The Midnight Riders at last with Rodgers and whoever they're willing out there, Mike White now.
Yeah. Now I'm questioning myself. I keep saying Darnold and then Donald.
No, you're right. You're right with
Darnold.
I don't know. I mean, I would rather have Herbert and Darnold than Brady and Daniel Jones if we compare the teams.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's put up 164 and 120 yards in his 2 games this year.
If we're talking about the future, like if we're talking about right now,
we're talking about this playoffs.
Yeah, so like
I'm talking about this playoffs.
Then no, you can't. No.
I just now saw Reed's comment about our last subject. Sorry.
There. Okay, so chances are, well, I don't know because we'll see where we go to the next one because I know where I end up as far as where these teams are. All right, running back position, Detroit, take it away.
All right, running backs. I had Empire number 1 again. They can throw out Henry, Mixon, and Barkley. I have the Dobermans at 2nd. They got Sanders, McCaffrey, and Kamara. Then I have the Sinners, Gamblers, Riders, and then the Wampus Cats.
Yeah, I mean, pretty
Okay,
much
Phil.
all the same except one variation. Empire number one, obviously, Henry, Mixon, Barkley, blah 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 blah. My 2 and 3 are different. I flipped with you again, Detroit. Centers at 2. Um, Zeke and Pollard, that combo. I think it's a good offense. I think to have a combination of the two backs, and then Ramondre Stevenson had no idea. Maybe I'm the only one, but I had no idea he was having such a good season. I dropped him a couple
Harris
years
got it.
ago, I think, so that's great. Uh, Doberman's at 3 with Sanders, McCaffrey, Kamara, Gamblers, Midnight Riders, and then Wampus Cats. Wampus Cats have Najee Harris and Kenneth Walker. That looked good early on the season, I feel like, but not so
Right.
much now.
Yeah.
All right, am I way off here in this one too? Oh God. Okay. I had the Evil Empire at 1, the Dobermans at 2, Sinners at 3, Gamblers
Yeah.
at 4,
Okay.
Wampus Cats at 5, and Midnight Riders at 6.
The only one I have different is 5 and 6 with you.
Okay, if Phil was freaking me out a little bit. Okay,
But I
so
think
you
you can
have
make
the
the
Midnight
same
Riders.
argument that we made for the quarterbacks. Because I think I took him because of Eckler at 5, just like you took.
See, but it was Eckler and no one else.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I mean it was. Yeah.
Although he has Jamal Williams, though.
That's
I feel
true.
like I may have screwed him up here. I don't know if I believe that he's. I just like Ken Walker a lot.
Yeah.
And Najee was looking better. Najee might be better with Trubisky for a game if they get Trubisky in there for a game. Oh, interesting.
I mean, 5 and 6 is probably
yeah,
a
I see what
toss-up
you're saying
too.
with the quarterbacks. I see what you're saying with the quarterback comparison. That's pretty good. All right, Detroit wide receivers and tight ends.
All right, wide receivers and tight ends. Originally, when I did this, people, I only did the wide receivers because I didn't read Brett's message clearly. That was on me. So we combined the tight ends with it. So I have the Midnight Riders, number 1. They can throw out the 1, 2, and 3 wide receiver out there, Jefferson, Hill, and Adams, and he still has Keenan Allen also they can throw out there. Dalton Schultz as his tight end. So that's why I got him 1. I have the Cats at 2. They're pretty steady. I have the Evil Empire at 3. Almost put them all the way up to 2 because, with Kelsey and Chase, that's pretty nice. Then I have the Sinners 4th, the Gamblers 5th, and then, sorry, Keith, I got you at 6th. That's about the only weak position I see on your team right now is your wide receivers. And that could be because you traded me. Even though
got Goddard back. You got to remember, he's got Goddard. Yeah, Goddard's coming back.
Yeah. Well, plus he got McCaffrey. So.
Yeah, a little throw in there. All right, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the positions so far, number 1 is pretty much a lock on all of them. I mean, because everybody has had like 2 top 5 guys, I think, like the Midnight Riders of Jefferson, Hill, Adams, and Schultz. Number 2, I have the Wampus Cats. I think Detroit also had them at 2. Number 3 is where I'm pretty far off, I think, on this one. I have the Gamblers.
Let's go.
I know he doesn't have any top 5 guys. I think he has like a number 8. I think Thielen's like 8 or something, or maybe I read that wrong. But I feel like he's got a solid group altogether. And Njoku is a top, I think it's like top 10 when I looked, somewhere around there. So, I mean, just overall, I have them at 3. Evil Empire at 4. I like Jamar Chase and Mike Cooper and Kelsey, of course, but just not having as good of a season as they could. The Sinners at 5. I think Detroit had them at like 3. And then the Dobermans, just like Michael Pittman and basically nobody. So.
All right. Looking at mine, I've 2 have the Midnight Riders at 1. This is the classic give me a star effort, freaking dominating wide receiver core. Evil Empire at 2, even with the Cooper Kupp injury. I think Kelsey elevates him that much higher. Now, if Andrews was coming a little bit hotter than he is, because he has been a little bit down the last few weeks, the Wampus Cats could battle for that position to me. But I have him at 3 now. Gamblers at 4. It feels kind of right there. They just have like the strong aggregate wide receivers. No dominating studs, but consistent performers. Centers at 5. Diggs is really carrying him there. And sadly, Michael Pittman has not worked out. Neither has Brandon Cooks, who I traded to him. He hasn't worked out like we had hoped either. We thought a lot of positive game scripts for Cooks. would help him out. So I do have the Dobermans at 6 as well.
Nice.
So Detroit, take away your defensive rankings. I don't think we're that far off on my receivers.
Yeah, the defense. I've been talking about this team for years now. That their team, as their defense goes, that's how they go, and that's the Gamblers. They have 6 players in the top 10 at their positions, averaging about 106.6 points a game. Then, surprisingly, I did not realize this until I started doing all the research on all these teams. I have the Dobermans, number 2. They have actually 7 players in the top 10 at their positions in fantasy, averaging about 99.5 points a game overall as a defense. Then I have the Empire, the Saints, the Cats, and then the Midnight Riders.
The Saints or the Sinners?
Yeah.
Did I say the Saints?
Yeah, you threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, the Sinners. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I got to the defense, it was about 3 minutes before the podcast started. So I didn't have a lot of time.
Unnecessary information to share.
No. I have to say that because it's going to show based upon what Detroit had for his rankings. So obviously Gamblers, that's the easy one. I mean, everybody knows that. Number 2, Evil Empire. So that's not too far. 3 Sinners. 4 Wampus Cats. Anybody I'm forgetting so far? 5 Midnight Riders and 6 Dobermans. That's what I have. So.
Man.
See, here's the thing.
Look at that too much.
I think what he's got it from is when we started the season, we said the liability to the Dobermans is the defense, and they corrected
That's
it.
What it was.
The thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really did. That was their liability, and they have corrected it. You can do that very easily with how our league is laid out through free agency if you make the right moves. And I think they did, because if I look at mine, the Gamblers is the blitz all night defense. I've talked about this defense so much all season long. It's how he stays in games where you don't think he should be in the game. The Evil Empire, I have them at number 2. I have the Dobermans at 3. I have the Wampus Cats at 4. I have the Sinners at 5 and the Midnight Riders at 6. I think if the Midnight Riders have a bad that's like a toss-up on the end. I think if the Midnight Riders have a bad game defensively, I think that's when you can get to them in the postseason.
Yeah,
but that's
I agree.
All right.
All
right. So,
sorry.
What is it?
I said they need to improve their defense for sure.
All right. So you basically take all these, add them up, low score wins in your rankings. So Detroit, what do you have for your 1 through 6?
Do I have to tell you like the points or just tell you the rankings?
Yeah, I mean, they can do that if they want to add them up. Just
All right. I had the Empire first, the Doberman second, Gamblers third. Then I had a tie at 4th, the Cats and the Sinners, and then last the Midnight Riders.
Ooh, Phil.
Okay, yeah. See, mine are gonna look stupid because I have the Dobermans at 6 on defense, but I'm gonna say Midnights.
Own your truth.
Number 1, Evil Empire. Number 2, Gamblers. Number 3, Sinners. Number 4, Wampus Cats, and I had them tied at 5, Midnight Riders and Dobermans, which I know the Dobermans should not be 5.
The Dobermans. All right, mine break down pretty simple. Mine's the exact same as Detroit's how it went out. Evil Empire, Dobermans, Gamblers. I didn't have a tie though, but I had the Wampus Cats, the St. Albans Sinners, and then the Midnight Riders at last. The Midnight Riders with the disrespect on the playoff rankings.
I know. See, maybe this will motivate them.
Yep. Bulletin board.
Time to make that run, Mike. No one believes in you.
All right. Are we ready to transition into the actual games?
Sure. What's the first game? I can't remember.
Well, we have what we call effective. What we have effectively. What is it effectively? Called our Golden Douche Tournament. Have you flipped to it yet? I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah, I thought we were just going to this. I didn't know we were going to the Golden Douche next.
We gotta get a Golden Douche Tournament, Phil.
I know, but I thought you meant we were picking. Never mind. I see what you're doing. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you're saying. No, we're gonna do that tournament first.
Gotcha.
As new listeners may not know, this has now become a prestigious thing in the consolation bracket of the KDFL. It is now up to, I believe, the picks in between round 2 and 3, somewhere in that area, I believe.
I think it's middle third round.
It might be, middle third round, actually, I believe. The winner of this constellation bracket gets that. You can see right there, we have the Renegades and the Mega Powers on bye week. So we won't be breaking down anything from them. So first up, Detroit will take it, then Phil, then back to me. We have the Zen Masters versus the River Rats.
All right. Looking at this matchup, the Zen Masters beat me in their only matchup of the year, 256 to 223. That was week 5, so I guarantee our rosters are like completely different from then, because the two of us like to trade all the time. Looking at this, I'm a little worried with Derek Carr playing against New England. New England's defense is tough, and they get after the quarterback. I guess Tyler Huntley is going to play.
Yes,
I don't have Damian Pierce this week, so that's another thing that I'm worried about. But I do like Mike Williams and Christian Watson. So I'm not even going to look at his team. I don't care. I'm taking this easily.
Easily, says Phil.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple, but since he said easily, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say the Zen Masters take it easily. I hate saying this because I traded him, but Trevor Lawrence, he's looking good recently. Who knows if he'll keep it up, but he might. He had a huge game last week. His running back.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
someone may have forgot to start him in salary and cost him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Sorry about it. My bad. I'll move on. I mean, yeah. No, I'm gonna go for Rats. I don't like his running backs.
What are you doing?
Well, we know he's
Phil. Snip, snap.
Snip, snap. That's what I do, man. Come on.
Oh man. Real quick, I forgot to go over this. Last week, me and Detroit went 5-1. He remains 5 games up on the overall total. Phil is now 4.5 games back. Matt and Jaron both went 4-2 last week, so pretty good. When I look at this, Trevor Lawrence gets to go back home. A nice matchup against the Cowboys, though. But the Zen Masters obviously know Lamar, and the River Rats have the backup. I'm worried, as I talked about with the coaches, that the Raiders, as an organization, have started to give up on Carr, but he does get back Waller this week. So that was a little bit surprising for me to see. I have to go the edge in a matchup this ugly. I have to go the edge, the guy that's starting 2 quarterbacks, and that is the River Rats. So give me the River Rats to advance.
Woo.
Next, we have the Lumberjacks at the Kings, Detroit.
Yes, this is a rematch from Week 13 when the Kings took down the Lumberjacks 220 to 201. Phil's team, I don't know what's happened to this team. I think we need to lower the Phildoza line to about 180 every week now, and that even might be too high. No offense, Phil, but actually, yeah, take offense. Look at these matchups. The Kings, they look like they just have the advantage pretty much everywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and just take them. I'm not really going to break it down.
Yeah, no offense to Tim, but how far have the Lumberjacks fallen that the Kings have the advantage in almost every matchup?
That might be your best line ever, Phil.
I don't even know what to say, really. I mean, if it wasn't for Sally, I probably just jinxed myself in that one. But saying that, I don't even know if I would care about fantasy football. It's stupid shit. So this team sucks. I mean, this. I think this is gonna be my worst season ever in the history of the league. So that's what I'm looking at here. I got no chance. I'm starting Brett Ripien at quarterback, or however you say his name. I don't know.
Ripien.
Kings win, easy.
I have my first bullet. Brett Rippon and Robert Woods. .. That's the two quarterback and offensive players that we're starting here for the Lumberjacks. Heineke and Brock put Purdy in. He's better. They do have some value. The Lumberjacks look to do some major restoring in the offseason. I got the Kings.
It's going to be a long process.
All right. Let's move on to the games that really, really matter up top. It's the KDFL playoffs. We will start out with the higher seed versus the lower seed. We're going to start off with the Sinners at the Gamblers. Detroit, take it away.
All right, this is a rematch from Week 10 where the Gamblers actually put up 286 points to the Sinners 230. Right now, it looks like it's about a 10-point spread in favor of the Gamblers. The Gamblers, we talked about their quarterbacks. Tom Brady's playing against Cincinnati. I don't like that matchup. Daniel Jones taking on Washington. I think that's a Sunday night game in Washington. At least Jones will get you some rushing yards. Cousins is for the Sinners going against the Colts. I love that matchup. Tannehill against the Chargers. I don't know. I just think that the Sinners actually have a little bit better offense, but it's that defense for the Gamblers. They're just going to come in again and get the win. So I'm going to take the Gamblers. And a close one.
All right, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of going back to our positional rankings, the Sinners have some like really good players on their side, but then the Gamblers just have some consistent guys on their side, not as good as the Sinners in some positions. But yeah, the defense is definitely going to give him a huge advantage here. I think I like Cousins more than Brady though. I think that'll be a win for the Sinners.
God, that hurts when I hear that.
This is a tough one, but I'm going to go Gamblers as well, I think. But it's going to be close.
All right. I have how much I have written down. Offense versus defense here in this matchup, like you guys have kind of alluded to. It is I need to see, because we've talked about the defense for the Gamblers. You know, Nick Hudson probably gets his defense rallied up. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'll take every last one of you out. He gets them fired up. But can Tom Brady and Daniel Jones do enough to give him the win? And the interesting thing for the Sinners is they have Evans as a hedge once Tom Brady remembers that he's on his team. But that's not happening lately. So I, too, am going Gamblers in this one. Now, last up, we have the Midnight Riders in the finals the past 2 years. Back in the playoffs again. Taking on.
I didn't know they were in the finals the last 2 years.
Against Nick, and against the last year was the Thunder Buddy Bowl against the commish.
Oh, I didn't realize he lost to Nick.
What do y'all think the Bills jokes are?
Listen.
That makes sense.
What are you doing?
My team's usually not in the playoffs, so I stopped paying attention. So.
Oh, my goodness. Anybody else want to talk about how much they don't focus on this? All right. Well, Miss the first time playoff appearance. Take it away, Detroit.
This is a rematch from Week 1 where the Wampus Cats won 255 to 227. However, the Midnight Riders are about a 30-point favorite going into this. Looking at these matchups, according to them, it looks like the Midnight Riders have the edge on probably about 75% of these matchups. I like Rodgers against the Rams. I know the Rodgers hasn't been great, but the Rams have been terrible. The other question I have is Mike White. How much is he going to be able to get done? Yes, he's playing the Lions defense, but they've been getting after the quarterback lately, so I don't think he can take too many hits. Offense, we talked about it earlier. The running back situation isn't the greatest for the Wampus Cats. I do like the receivers. I think they're pretty steady. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. So, Bustin, I'm sorry. I don't want to pick against you. But I think the Midnight Riders win this one by about 15.
Yeah, I mean, I
Bill.
think for the Midnight Riders, Jefferson, Hill, and Adams is just it's going to be too big of a combo to overcome. I think for the Wampus Cats. I mean, they have some good receivers as well. They have three top 10 guys, I think, and Mark Andrews, a tight end. Um, and I think I had the Wampus Cats actually one spot ahead in the overall team rankings. Um, but yeah, I just think just Jefferson, Hill, and Adams is just going to be too much for the Wampus Cats. I think they're going to have some big days. And I think it's going to be really close, but I think Midnight Riders.
But
Can I say something real quick? Like it's funny to me that we're doing these predictions after we just did this average, like the positions and everything.
And we don't, yeah.
Because like we all had the Midnight Riders last, right?
Yeah,
right.
pretty much. Yeah.
And I'm about to do I'm about to do it as well. But it's not fair though. That's not fair for one reason though. Because their wide receivers are just one and the next one's two. But in reality, their wide receivers are way up.
That's true.
Yeah, because I thought the same thing. I thought it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I'm about to do the same thing. Marmot is a playoff team. They are built for this. The Wampus Cats might be on some shaky ground, especially with Kyler out. If Kyler's in, this could be completely different. But I do also think if you exclude the tight end position, that this wide receiver matchup for the Wampus Cats would be the toughest going head-to-head with the wide receiver matchup for the Midnight Riders. I really do think, and I'm not just saying it just because he was a mega power legend, but I do believe the Wampus Cats are going to need Mark Andrews to have a chance at winning this game. Basically, they look around, they had to say, we have to come together or we too will be destroyed. I'm going Midnight Riders, though, sadly. That's it. That's it. So real quick, we're going to move on to our locks and our upsets. Last week, me and Detroit missed on everything. The commish got both of his right, so he got off the schneid. He got his upsets with the Chargers over the Dolphins, and he hit the Lions -2.5. Matt hit his upset with our Jags defeating the Tennessee Titans. And Tim got on the board finally. He had the Chargers over the Dolphins as well. So Detroit, take it away. What do you have for us this week?
This week, you know me, I love going with the Chiefs -14 against the Texans. That's my lock. And my upset is the fake KDFL Jags fans, their favorite team. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You guys and your fake Jags team. I think they are going to upset the Cowboys this week.
Okay, you'll notice a trend this season. And I talked to Detroit. Yeah, it's in Jacksonville. And you'll notice a trend if you go back on episodes. Anytime the Chiefs are a double-digit favorite, Detroit rolls with them, and then I have mine that I'll get to in a second because it really is crazy how many times we've done it. Phil, what do you have for us?
All right. Hopefully, I didn't forget what you told me before the show to not pick a certain team.
It's gonna happen.
Unnecessary
My
information.
lock. I'm gonna go Washington Commanders -4.5.
Okay.
Versus the Giants at home, and then my upset. I'm gonna go with your Atlanta Falcons +4 at New Orleans.
Ritter time, baby. It's Ritter time. For mine, like I said, Detroit always loves to go with the Chiefs as double-digit favorites. I keep saying Detroit twice. I love when a divisional opponent gets a lot of points. I wish they were at home, but I'm sacrificing the wish that they were at home because I believe the weather is going to be bad in Buffalo. So I think it's going to be hard to pull away. So I will take the Dolphins +7.5 against the Bills. And I'm also a big devil's advocate guy, and the Titans have been getting destroyed. The Titans are getting the Chargers coming off a high, and they are the Chargers. So I will go with the Titans getting the outright win over the Chargers. Looking at our standings, no points last week, so I'm at 19. Detroit's at 15, and Phil is at 13. Detroit, anything else for us as we sign off?
No, just want to tell you guys, great show. Can't wait to do it again next week. Don't forget, get out there, get your vitamin water, and Brett Usock.
Phil, how can the people get a hold of us?
As always, they can follow us on Twitter at KDFL Podcasts. They can follow us individually, me, Phil Ruxey. They can follow Brett at Brett2. You can follow Detroit at Detroit8374. And that's all.
Detroit, are we seeing the chat? Mike McGee acknowledge references. Do you know what he's referring to?
No.
This whole episode, from the beginning to the end, I have peppered in. Remember the Titans quotes. This whole episode.
I threw one in too. I said strong side.
That's what that was from. That's why I said left side. I don't know if Aiden Hutchinson's on the left side or not.
And I said strong side.
Yeah, he followed it up.
There's probably 6 to 8. I think I worked in it. They make no sense when they're in there. They make no sense when they say them. I called Tony Pollard sunshine. They make no sense.
You said something about
what was Purdy that in. Put Purdy in. He's better. It was my favorite one I did. What?
I can't remember.
I didn't even catch.
Oh, I said put Purdy in. He's better. Oh my God! So
I didn't even pay attention to that.
That's a great wrap up, boys. If you go back and listen, you'll hear a bunch of Remember the Titans quotes.
This is one episode.
We were arguing the other day. I told 2 people that I told the commission, Mike, that I'm going to do an episode where I'm just going to try to pepper in.
Well, no, I did catch the one because that's why I threw that on there.
Sometimes you gave me a look like, why did he say that? And then if you go back and watch, you're like, what did he say? All right, great episode, boys. The KDFL playoffs are here. It's a fun time of year, and even the consolation bracket has a lot to battle for. So, for Jonathan Detroit Haynes, for Captain Phil Roxy, I'm Brett Steele, and we will see you next week right here on the KDFL podcast.